Hey, what's up everyone? Today I am drawing with some soft pastels on some brown paper. I have this Canson pastel paper here, and there's this dark brown sort of color that I have been really curious to make an artwork on. So let's dive right into it. Today I have been very inspired to make another Pokemon artwork because something very exciting has happened in the Pokemon sort of scene. A new DLC has come out for the Pokemon games, and this is the first time that this has ever happened in a Pokemon game so far. This DLC is called the Pokemon Sword and Shield Isle of Armor. And in this Isle of Armor, there is a brand new legendary Pokemon. An adorable little baby legendary Pokemon at that, and his name is KUBFU. He is this cute little bear character, and he's a fighting type, and he's just so cute and grumpy, and I have been so excited to draw him. And as you can see, I'm starting off with a sketch on this brown paper, and I'm just using a normal graphite pencil to sketch down, and I'm trying to keep the sketch sort of light and not too heavy or anything like that, because I'm going to go over it with my soft pastel. So if you're not aware, I actually have done recently an artwork with soft pastels, and I did it in my video where I was drawing with an art supply that I hated because I really weren't into these and I just didn't like them that much. But after giving them a chance, I have actually changed my mind, and I thought that they were pretty cool, so I want to try again and see if I can develop some skills with this. So for the background area, I am planning to do a bit of a scene here. I want to have the dojo, which is in the games, and a little bit of grass around and scenery, and I'm actually using an image from one of the screenshots from the game as a reference. I'm not copying it directly though, I am just adding a little bit of my own style on there, and this art style that I'm actually using is quite loose and soft. I knew with these pastels I wouldn't be able to get overly a crisp look like I like to do with my Copic art, and sometimes with art supplies I will really try to get that same look that I get with my Copics, but that's absolutely ridiculous because art supplies work differently, and I sort of have to acknowledge that and see if I can get the best results with the style that the art supplies will actually get me. And the sort of art style with these soft pastels is surprisingly very soft. Not surprising at all actually, but I really like the soft sort of illustrative look that I can get with these pastels, and it's not overly crisp or anything like that, but I actually like it because the shapes and everything is all fluid and very colorful and soft, and it gives a sort of different feel to other art supplies that I actually really like. It gives it a little bit more of a hand-drawn look, which is funny because most of my art is hand-drawn. But I really love the texture and the softness that I can get, especially if I blend out the pastels. As you can see, I've used a bit of my finger to blend these pastels out, and I didn't actually do that in my last video because I didn't want to get my hands dirty or anything like that. I was actually drawing at my partner's house and I didn't want to get pastel all over everything I touch. But this time I just let loose and I didn't worry too much about making a mess because I'm currently in my studio making art, and mess is definitely something that I don't mind making if it means I make good art. So I just took a bit more of a carefree approach, and I just went into each little area and tried to render out some cute details in a sort of stylistic style that looks cool. And it's interesting because I sort of took a different approach to this to my last artwork because I treated it a little bit more like a painting. As you can see, I've sort of done a very soft minimal sketch, and then I'm going over the top with all of the details, and I'm sort of just acting as if it is a paint, and if it's a bit of more of an opaque medium, which it kind of really is because it does act quite a bit like paint even though it is a dry medium. As you can see, I'm adding in blocks of color and then chucking in some random colors here and there, and then blending it and letting the colors mix around on the paper to make a tone that I like. And then later I added in some details here and there, and some details I didn't like, so I just went straight back over them with a lighter color to sort of cover that up, and it covered it up completely. So these do really act a lot more like paint compared to, you know, other dry mediums. But the good thing about these is that, you know, they don't have to wait to dry, which is awesome. Now, I actually learned a new trick as well while I was doing my research, and this is a really cool trick to get some nice little texture and speckles in your artwork if you don't want it overly smooth, or if you want like a sort of, you know, pebbly looking road or something like that. I actually took out my X-Acto knife and shaved some parts of the pastels off, and let all the little tiny crumbs land on my artwork. And then after I did this, I did a few different colors, and then I took a piece of plastic and laid it over the top of my art and pressed down. And this pretty much pushes all of these little, you know, bits of pastel all into the paper so that they stick. And after this, you get this really cool texture that looks really cool. It was really fun too, because it was a very cool way for me to add a little bit more color here and there over areas where it sort of had, you know, too much color in and I couldn't add too much. But it was also a cool way for me to add a little bit of texture on the road or in the garden area or even on the rocks, or a little bit more color in the roof area of the dojo, and I loved it. It makes me think too, I'm actually pretty excited to see if I can maybe make a galaxy with these pastels and use that sort of speckly idea to add stars. Comment below if you want me to try that out in a video, because I'm very curious. But anyways, now is time to color in the cute little KUBFU, and as you can see, I am putting in some gray, and I'm trying my best to blend it as much as I can because I don't want too much texture in this guy. I want him to look a little bit more solid so that he stands out from the sort of rough textured background. I want him to look a little bit more bold, so I'm using not that many colors in him. I'm just using a light gray and a white, and a little bit of black and blue as well, and a little bit of soft yellow. I also decided to keep him to last because I didn't want to sort of, you know, draw him and then, you know, get other colors over the top of him as I was doing the background. That was not one of my plans. But yeah, after I got all of that color down, I went in with my black pastel pencil and I used some sandpaper to make sure it was very sharp. And I went and I added some line art because, as you can probably tell, there is pretty much no line art in the background, and I did this on purpose because I wanted it to have a really soft sort of illustrative feel. But for the main subject of this artwork, I wanted a bold outline so that he had more of a cartoony look, and that way he would also stand off from the background really well and his colors would look really bold and nice. I used a really dark black color for the dark areas on him, and I actually added a little bit of Prussian blue into those areas too, just to make sure that he looks really colorful. I didn't want him to be absolutely grayscale because he does have mainly gray on him. I did end up giving him a little bit of shading too though. As you can see on the grey areas, I added a bit of white and blended those in with the grey, and I actually really like the subtle shading on him because it makes it pop out a little bit more. Now finally, I just felt like I wanted him to stand out just that little bit more, so I took out my trusty white pencil and I went around the outside and I did a bit of a white outline. I love doing this because especially when there is a black outline around him, the white just makes it stand out so much more and makes him really, you know, set him apart from the background. And overall, I am thrilled with the results. So anyways, here's the final results, and I absolutely love this artwork. It has a different feel. It's more of an illustrative look. It's definitely not realistic or, you know, crazy blending or anything like that, but I love the storybook look to it and I think it looks really cool. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you enjoyed listening to me nerd out about Pokemon. Pokemon's one of my absolute favorite things. I love Pokemon. I'm a huge Pokemon nerd, and yeah. If you like Pokemon and art, you've come to the right place, so please smash that subscribe button to get your scribble fix in the future. I hope you all are having a lovely day. Please stay safe and comment below what you think of this art. And on that note, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye everyone.